Hi. For today's Fun Fact Friday, we are going to cover 3 topics: how to view the responses to your Google Form fall semester survey, how to sort the data within a Google Sheet, and how to stop accepting responses. In order to access the survey, you will need to log into your Google Drive account by typing drive.google.com and using your Pinecrest credentials to access your Google School account. You will know that you have logged into your Pinecrest G Suite account when you see the Pinecrest logo in the upper left corner of the screen. Once you are in your Drive account, you will need to locate the form. Depending on how many files you have in your Drive, it may make sense to use the search field within Drive. I know that the name of my form includes the word tester, so I am going to type tester to find my form. And here it is right at the top. Once you have found your form, double-click to open it. This view should look familiar to you. We are accessing the form the same way that you may have done in order to modify the first question of your survey before administering it to students. But instead of working with the questions today, we are going to look at the responses. So click on the Responses tab and notice on quick glance that Google tells you upfront how many responses have been collected. There are 3 ways to view the survey responses. The first 2 are built into the form platform, and they are indicated here by Summary, which is the default, and Individual, which allows you to cycle through the entire form responses one user at a time. I will explain the third way to view your responses in a minute. The beautiful thing about Summary View is that Google harnesses its power of data aggregation to provide you with immediate data analysis. For example, for most surveys, you will see a pie chart to show you the percentage of students who selected each course you teach, as well as the percentages for the next question. For the Likert scale questions, Google creates bar graphs to give you an immediate visual of the results. For a second view, you can press the Individual tab and then quickly cycle through each survey response individually to see how separate students responded to all of the questions at once. The third way to view the survey responses is through Google Sheets, which is Google's spreadsheet program. In order to view the responses through Google Sheets, you will want to scroll to the top and look for the little green square near the top right within the form content window. Click that button, and a new window will open with the form responses as data entered into a Google Sheet. Please note, for these surveys, the Google Sheets have already been created for you. However, if you were accessing the sheet responses for the first time, a dialog box would pop up asking you to decide whether to create a new sheet or add the data to an existing sheet. In this case, the responses have been added to a new sheet. When the new sheets are created, they are always named with the same name as the form and then the word responses in parentheses tagged onto the end of the file name. But let's move on. Why would we need to access the responses in a Google Sheet? Sometimes it's unnecessary, and the summary view or the individual view, these views within the form, are sufficient. But other times, we might need to use the data sorting capabilities of Google Sheets to access the information more easily, specifically when you want to sort the content based on specific question responses. For example, for those who teach more than one course, you may want to sort the responses based on a student's response to the first question, what course are you taking with this teacher? So to sort the data based on a response to a specific question, you will want to highlight the entire sheet by clicking in the square in the far upper corner, under the function bar, above row 1, and to the left of column A. Click that square. Once all the data is highlighted, click Data from the menu bar and select Sort Range. In the dialog box that opens, you will want to click the box next to Data Has Header Row. Clicking that box pulls the labels from each of your columns so that you can pick which column you want to work with. It also makes sure that the information in row 1 in your header row does not get sorted into the responses. So when it's not clicked, I'm just looking for column A, B, C, whatever. But when it is clicked, notice that it's now been populated with those column titles. In this case, I want to sort everything by what course are you taking with this teacher? I'm going to now press the blue sort button. And now I'm able to view my classes separately. So I could, if I wanted to, just cut and paste this into a different window so that I'm looking at just those students in that class separately from these students in the other class. Please keep in mind that this sheet that I was working on, this sheet here, now exists in your drive, but you can also find it by clicking on the Sheets button within the Responses tab of the form. Whenever you click this button, once the sheet is created, the sheet will pop up again. Our final topic for today is how to turn off accepting responses and personalize the message that your students receive should they try to submit a response after you have closed the survey. To stop accepting responses, you will need to return to the window where your form is open for editing, which is where we are right now. Be sure you are in the Responses tab. On the right side of the form window, you will see a button that is represented by a dot next to the words Accepting Responses. The dot will be a color coordinating with the theme of your form. In this case, it's green. Click the button, and the form will now show in red, Not Accepting Responses. Within the new area that appears is an editable message that you can personalize by clicking on the text box under where it says Message for Respondents. You can personalize this message if you want to include instructions on what to do if they've accessed the survey after it has been closed, such as instructions to ask Mrs. Metzger to turn it back on. Leaving the default message is also fine. I hope this information and video was helpful. The next Fun Fact Friday will not be until January, so see you next year.